cover that covers this so that you can still pull it out from underneath it, but it would still be covered.
Is that something new, or is that?
It's supposed to be labeled new.
No. Is that, having that covered, is that
July
something new?
2015. Yes.
The
Okay.
store just got an board inspection 2 weeks ago, past flying color, labeled exactly as you're seeing it right now.
It is labeled correctly.
Okay,
But
It
it's
should
open.
technically, this should be open, it should be covered.
Right.
So would
They're
like
working on
they're
that.
working on a little flap.
They're working on a flap.
Would that be fine?
Perfect, yes.
Okay. So the correct wording is new?
Yes.
Anything
And
that
then the rest of that, all correct wording, I just want to
Okay,
make
much
sure.
they're putting their dirty,
Soiled and clean, is that correct?
so some of the
Or-
stores have a whole bunch of containers going on. We just throw our dirty stuff in here and then clean it on the estimate before we do it.
Let me just, I grabbed my book too.
I have mine in my car.
Again, it just got, this one just got inspected and it passed. So it's good timing. I have some that are labeled dirty. I got stuff
And it
labeled.
can be,
Yeah, some of us have dirty.
it can be dirty, soiled, contaminated, I think are 3 words.
Yeah.
to use.
So it can be any of these.
So, this is where they keep their clean ingredients. Is that labeled correctly? Clean? And that should be clean?
New.
That's-
No, they're
New.
new next month.
Anything that
That's new,
has
that's
to be
clean.
thrown away
Okay,
needs to be new.
okay,
It's either new or it's in the garbage.
okay,
It's not clean because
Right.
you can't clean. It's
Okay.
just, it's,
got it.
does that help?
Yeah.
That's totally
Clean.
fine.
Yeah.
Were you looking this?
So the clothes.
Yes, it has to be. Right, so that's fine.
Okay,
Yep.
so this is
Okay,
good.
so
That's all fine. And it's soiled is good, or it should be dirty?
So soiled fine, it can be dirty, soiled, or contaminated. Right.
Okay.
Okay, so what is it? These can be, they can be dirty, soiled,
Or
Or
contaminated.
contaminated.
right on there, dirty.
Whatever is easier for you.
How do you spell contaminated? Anyone,
why-
anyone?
CONTAIN,
You might want to
INATED.
stick to dirty or soiled, because the whole purpose of that is that the consumer will see
Yeah,
where you're pouring
right.
it. And if you're, if you have some language access challenged, people, it's easier just to keep it super simple.
Contaminated sounds worse.
It does.
This is for anyone, like, I don't want somebody using
This one
something
can't be
that's contaminated.
sanitized anymore, it's clean. Only?
That's clean, yes, that's clean.
There's no other words for clean?
I think disinfected.
But that is different than sanitized.
Right.
Right.
You
So,
don't want to
No
use that.
sanitize.
No
I like
sanitized.
either clean or
What's the clean
disinfected.
mean?
Yeah.
Clean is good for the consumer. it's
New
good
is
for us.
perfect, but it needs a cover going forward,
Okay.
but. So like, could we throw a Ziploc in there and like, when you pull that next one, throw a Ziploc bag in there just to cover it? Right, and then pull the next one
You
up?
totally could. This helps out, right? You totally could.
What they're doing down in LA, the franchisees down there are putting a Ziploc bag and storing their Xanax in the clean drawer.
That
And then
works too.
pulling a clean one out.
But even on that
Still
Ziploc,
labeled new.
new.
The back, well, if it's in the clean,
Open.
It's not clean, it's
Yeah.
oh, new, got it.
So it can go inside here but be new.
Oh, yes.
Got that, guys?
Does anyone do waxing?
No.
Okay.
I have a question on the clippers. Some of our stylists are putting them in the drawer that's labeled clean. They, brush them off, spray them down, and put them in the drawer that says where we keep our clean clipper guards. Is that legit?
Yes.
Okay. And then we also have other salons that we don't have the same stations. We'll have clear plastic tubs that are labeled soiled, that just sit on the station, that they'll keep their soiled clippers in. And before a service, take them out, brush them off, spray them off, and then use them. And as long as they don't step away from the service, they're always in that container.
Remember, do you guys use white towels? Like SMA towels or anything?
This is our,
That's your SMA, okay.
But finish that thought.
but yeah.
An inspector shouldn't be citing you if you're using the clippers and you set them down and they're dirty and they come in and you're still,
In the
like you're
service.
going back and forth from your scissors to your
Right.
clippers. They shouldn't be citing
No, we're not
you.
getting,
Okay,
what's
good.
happening is the stylist will maybe, after the customers are all done, they'll place their shears or their clippers on this desk, go smoke a cigarette, go to the bathroom, and that's where,
Yeah.
and we're explaining to them, they gotta put them back into the container.
Right. I had my stylist get cited, she ran to the bathroom after the client, she was put, and they came in.
Okay. So either way, the tub system or putting them in, labeled
Clean.
clean.
When you have them in there, just a word of caution, because when I've used clippers, make sure there is no hair.
Right, very
At all.
clean.
Yeah, take that top off and brush it all out. Because if they find hair on the clippers, any hair, and it's in the clean, they'll cite you. So it's almost easier to put it in the soil and then you just,
You can't
you
find
know,
anywhere with hair.
if you-
So that's okay to be soiled over there. Okay.
yeah.
So in our stores, the old ones, they have hooks on the side for dirty clippers. That can say soiled here and, like right here, and it's fine,
Yep.
right? Because once it goes there,
Yeah,
they
it
have to.
says-
Yep.
All soiled electrical tools used on a client or soiled in any manner, shall be placed in a container labeled soiled, dirty, or contaminated. So it has to be a container.
Is that
So
considered
they
a
can't-
container?
Yes,
They
this
can't-
is, this
They
one's
can't
open.
hang then.
No.
Do you
Right.
feel like that's?
It's closed
Nope.
container? Okay.
So
So
it
it
doesn't
doesn't
say
say container, do you?
Okay.
We've never been fined for something like that.
No.
And they've been in all of our stores.
And this relaxed cup design?
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't either.
I don't know how you
They
get hold of
haven't
that.
even been.
Right.
You don't know how you
Your
can blend
scissors,
it?
the hooks you could, and
Right.
it's not a container.
Right.
So stay
So
away
this-
from the hooks.
Okay.
Well, yeah, what about the old
So
stores?
it does say container.
That's what we have to
Our
talk
stores start looking like,
It's best to just label it soiled.
it looks like
Either
baskets
way.
are
And
on.
pull them out of that soil, clean them off, spray them, or wipe
Just in
them,
case
whatever
the
you're
air gets
using.
in 'em.
Right.
Don't put it in
Okay, so
leather.
how about for the hanging hooks,
we
we
don't
just put a
know plastic
Ziploc bag
bags
around
or
them
this.
and then hang them from the hook? Would that be considered a container and label
No.
each of them soiled?
If it's hanging?
If it has a Ziploc
If we
bag
put it
around
around
it.
it, as a strategy, I have 2 stores that still have the old system.
Okay.
So as so I don't have to, because you end up with like boxes of,
So
and it kind of takes away from the floor view.
they can be hanging and labeled clean.
Oh,
But
that's
again,
nice.
make sure there's absolutely nothing on them.
Right.
when you do that.
Well, when some of the inspectors, when we had it labeled that way, labeled clean, clean clippers hanging, they said that it's not, it has to be covered because it still is being exposed to floating hair.
And they're right,
They're right.
but the law says they can be hanging clean. It
If-
switched in July of 2015. I will tell you, we want to switch it back because we don't think they should be hanging clean.
Right.
Because of hair
Right.
getting on them. However, that's takes a long time to change regs.
Oh, yeah.
So right now, they can be hanging and
Yeah.
clean.
We just say a clean place.
Okay.
Right.
Well, that's good.
Other question I've got is capes. We used to drape them, fold them, drape them nice, so it's, and then that was it. Now we can't leave them draped over the chair.
You can.
Yes,
You
you can.
can, all day
It's
long.
smocks, right, we've been trying to let our inspectors know.
Yes, it's one of our
that
biggest confusions we have.
Because we would, after the customers are all gone, we have to fold them up and put them into a drawer, or, you know.
You can still put them on the backside.
Okay,
The cape, we assume, doesn't come in contact with the client's skin because you're using your strip, so they can be hanging, they can be on the chair.
Now, if you have a lot of gel or hair product moves stuff on the, they'll get you for a different violation.
Right.
They'll get you for equipment not clean. So, you know, wash them out if anything drips on them.
If you're getting that still, if anyone's coming into any of your shops saying that cape can't be there, can you let us know?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's been a very big, because the law is specific to smocks and
Yeah.
everything
Except
else,
for
but,
drapes.
but that.
Oh,
So it's been very
terminology
confusing.
thing over and stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now the difference between rags, like cleaning rags, and towels that we might use on a customer. So we might have some Windex in the back with a rag draped over the Windex bottle that we're clearly using to wipe the cleaner down there. And we're getting fined because it's an exposed towel.
You've gotten fined for that?
We have,
Back?
because and we're like, this is clearly not what we use on customers.
Right.
It's like an old, gross, ratty rag.
It is in the back.
And it's way in the back, and so, they said we need to have a container that says soiled for the towels, like even if we're drying our hands in the back station. You know, the girls use the shampoo sink, they'll clean their hands right there and they'll dry the towel, it's just left there.
Right.
It's the towel, it's out.
Right.
So I think.
So the
that
law doesn't say cleaning towels are okay, it just says towels.
Right.
We totally agree with you. The towel that's with your Windex, that is clear. So we're trying to look at that internally and make sure we don't fine for it, but it's going to happen.
So just be on our toes until.
Right, I would keep it in a container
Yeah,
labeled soiled or clean because most inspectors are going to write that down.
Yeah.
If that is the letter of the law, if that was to happen though, you might consider appealing,
Yeah.
you know.
I have definitely seen it appealed. And the people have had to come in and explained it, and the board members are like, oh, we totally understand. But that takes a lot of time.
It's a half-day
Out of your-
investment.
you know.
like, yeah. So if there is something that we can help you with, like we'll communicate to you when we see, like what we were just talking about, we'll be glad to.
Yes.
We wanna help,
Absolutely.
and, because we do represent a large number of salons, and
Right.
to the degree that we can help, we will.
Right, like the capes were a big issue when the laws first came out. Everybody was telling us. I haven't personally heard that it's still a problem in a while, so if it is, we definitely need to hear it.
Okay.
So just to be clear, the smocks though cannot be hanging on the back.
Right.
Like a coat.
They need to
Right.
all be put into soiled or,
Yeah, you're, and,
okay,
yeah,
gotcha,
you need to put away just your drapes, that's all.
okay.
Okay,
And
so
again, it's because it's not coming in direct contact. When you put a smock on, it's gonna touch,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
we're talking about smocks for the clients, not
Right.
smocks for the stylist.
Right, okay.
So stylist capes,
But
capes,
you
they might not
hang
know
your
smocks.
smocks for personal
Aprons.
stylists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't hang them?
yeah, I would have them up. I mean, if it says great fits on it.
Like I hang it in my
I
office
mean,
on the
for
wall.
what the,
Working.
that they put on, yeah.
You guys wear aprons?
Some people
No,
don't.
okay. I don't know, that's your call. If they are working, if the stylist is working with an apron, you think that the inspector is excited for that?
Haven't ever seen it.
I haven't either.
We got warned, we didn't get the fine, but she told us if we took them down, she wouldn't fine us.
Oh, okay.
They were
But we-
hanging in the back room like a coat
Behind the
rack.
door, yeah,
Yeah.
in the break room.
So they'll hang them after they wash them or whatever, they'll just hang them to dry that night.
Yeah.
and They'll come in and they're not in a closed container, but it's part of their apparel, so like, what do? They have a blazer in the back. Is that a good lane? They take it
I know
out.
they're good excited for that.
I don't know if we have or not.
Customer consumer.
Right.
Okay,
Here's one on licensing.
Yes.
So, right now, if they came in and did a fine and there was anything wrong with this station, and her license is up, but she's not here, I get the fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she would.
But if she weren't here and there was like no license, there wouldn't been a fine.
There still would be a fine, you would still get it.
Everything in the shop falls on it. Everything.
Are we working on changing that?
Say that again, everything in the shop, what?
Falls on the owner. Any violation that any of the workers would get, or any violation in the entire shop, the establishment.
Yes, a new law just passed.
Can we make, can the stylist pay, can we make the stylist pay the owner's
You're fine.
fine?
No, you're
You
fine.
wanna consult with legal? We have seen it in the work agreements, right, between, you know, establishments and workers, but, yeah, that's a legal issue.
Now, for the license, we're talking about getting new frames that are different. What has to be displayed? The expiration date, the name, the license number? Is that it? Because if I could get a really, if we were talking about getting smaller, thinner frames and folding the license so it fits in there, and all that shows is literally like this much. Is that risky?
Nope, we need to see this.
Okay, okay,
Consumer needs to know where they could
Right.
got
contact.
it, okay.
These are available.
I know. I'm trying to get fancy.
Getting back though,
So there's a new law just passed that goes into effect January 1, and it requires the board to look at violations now to determine if it should be the owner, or if it should be the stylist, or if it should be both.
so hopefully that'll
I don't
alleviate
remember
some
the
of the
date.
pressure on the
That's nice.
owners.
I remember the day the stylist would get the fine. Like, it would be like your fault, I'm like,
Well, they would if they were here, but you would still get it regardless.
on the top of it.
Yeah, exactly. So now, how we envision it going to be is if we were to come in and somebody's using a dirty brush. And we see that person, Tammy's using a dirty brush. Well, Tammy made that violation, she should be the only one that gets fined for that.
oh,
And it's obvious if you're instructing the rest of your shop because nobody else is doing it.
Right.
Now, what's the fine like? So if they come in and, like, we try to manage our employees' expiration dates. So like, they came in, this is expired, but they went down and actually paid, you guys are so close. Like, we have to pull them off the floor, they paid, they got a dupe or their receipt. What?
Thank you.
Usually you won't get a fine. Thank you. They forgot, and they go down and they get it taken care of right away. You can do it online, they can do it right here.
Okay.
You're talking about duplicates?
No, if they're
If it was
expired.
If
expired.
If a stylist loses their license,
That's $10.
to go on the Breeze and request a duplicate, right, but are they allowed to cut with that receipt that they've got, if it's not expired, but they lost it?
By the letter of the law, no, you're supposed to have your physical license, you
Display.
should not be citing for that, we do not wanna put people out of work.
And that's kind of where we are, we're letting them, and it happens very rarely, but it's like, if it's not expired and you got the receipt that you went online and got a duplicate
Right.
order, we'll let you cut.
If it's expired and you went down and paid, or you went online and paid right now, you're not gonna get fined for that.
Okay, is your license?
I always tell them, keep the receipt close, don't
Yeah.
post it,
Right.
but keep it
Yeah.
maybe somewhere close.
Now, the inspector still may write it down.
Sure.
Because sometimes we have people that say, I renewed yesterday, and they didn't.
I had a
So,
girl who had
they
a
still
her
will
license
write it
stolen
down.
out of her car a couple days ago, and I had her go and print the copy off of the thing while she's getting her license. That's okay for her to still cut. It's valid license, and I checked to make sure it was valid.
Right, she's technically licensed, they're always supposed to have that posted.
Right.
Even if it's expired and they've renewed it, they should have,
No, if it's expired,
Don't
that
get
don't
off-
happen.
okay.
It
That's a
shouldn't
whole
be
nother,
there.
that's a whole
Got
other
it.
fine. But what
Yeah.
our point is we don't wanna put people out of work, so
Right.
we're not gonna come in and, again, the inspector may write it down on the inspection report, but when it gets to the office, they look it up and say, oh, this person renewed 2 days before or 2 days after.
Yeah.
You might get a citation saying her license was
Yeah, well, hers
expired,
was
but it's
not
not, you're not gonna
expired.
get fined.
It just got stolen, so she has a license. And you're also not supposed to
But you have
have
to pay for
other
the $10
license,
half the
expired
time.
license behind those licenses.
you
You
get
can
that?
have it behind, I know a lot of people
I've
do
had
that.
somebody take, I used to.
They will take them,
And they take them.
we're telling them not to take them anymore. A lot of people really like to keep their old licenses, so we don't want them to take them anymore,
Don't
but
put 'em there.
there's also the risk of people stealing them. We have a lot of fraudulent licenses out there, and that's why we don't want the expired ones available.
Here's one, what is this one? Have we gotten this fine? It's something about the next strips on the floor, the
Yep.
closed container. I don't know if you guys know what our system looks like, but people name, right, we throw it on the floor and we sweep it all up.
There's no problem with neck strips on the floor. If there's neck strips on the floor and you left them there for 5 people, then there's a problem.
Okay.
There's
So
5 neck strips right here.
Undrape someone, you can throw it on the ground, check them out, sweep it up.
Right.
Okay.
So the next strips
Oh,
are.
Again, if there's,
I know, right?
The inspector sees a couple
We
though
are so
and makes hair.
Yeah.
no, we never have a couple.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we always like,
Yeah.
it goes on the floor, they check them out, they
Yeah.
come right back, they sweep.
it up.
And,
Yeah.
yeah,
You can't do.
I think we actually did get a
you
fine
can
for
do
that.
Yeah, I know,
We did,
we've gotten
and we
yeah,
paid it.
check
We
it
should
out
have
and
fought
send
it.
us, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't there
Yeah,
something
that's-
about our sweeping thing that they don't,
They don't like the vacuums.
they don't like it, like closed
What? Do you love it?
Yeah,
Oh
they
yeah,
don't-
they check that.
Is that it
all the
under there?
time.
Yeah, so it's
They
like, right,
hate
so
that
we
thing.
sweep, we step, right, and that's our closed receptacle.
Oh.
And I think that, I don't know, they just don't, there's something about that.
There's always a problem.
And that's the only place we put our hair, so we've been, like, a lot of my finds are like somewhere in the back, so like you're doing a perm back here, I'm not a perm store anymore. You're doing a perm and you're taking perm, whatever, rods out
and
at the
papers.
sink and you throw them on the ground and that's an open garbage, we don't use that for our hair, we get fined on that.
No.
Yes, you
Yeah.
should
Yes,
not.
you do.
Right.
Yes, you do.
We
There's
have,
only,
we just stopped doing perms, because,
Yeah.
right, because you don't want a covered one when you're doing your perm rods, opening it up every time.
The only time, the only
I do it
thing,
with
the
the
only reason you need a closed
is if it's hair.
Yeah, that's when this is a problem for them.
So then you would label that trash.
No, like that one, if we're using it for
Soil?
receipts, that has to be a
Yeah.
closed receptacle, we don't use
Yes.
that for hair.
But, so if that was open and there's no hair in it, that's not a violation.
Right.
Yeah, well, they,
Ah.
yes,
No,
yeah.
yeah,
We've
they
gone
do.
to try to find at least
Because they did it in our
one
break
they
room
put
trash can.
Well,
at
yeah,
one
first
time.
salon,
At
right.
one
Yes.
store, it was clearly
Starbucks.
food in there, break room trash can. And there was no, I think maybe the lid was on the side and it was like end all be all of everything.
So as long as there's no hair in there, we're okay
Right.
with
The
uncovered.
only
Perfect.
closed, do you have it? It's one, I think it even says only, and it's hair salons, well, you guys are hair
That's why we
salons.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's only for the disposal of hair, the point being, hair flies back out of it,
All
we've got
right.
the blow dryer going, so,
So the trash can underneath that cabinet, we have one underneath that cabinet, it's fine without a lid on it then.
As long as
so
there's no
here's
hair.
how it reads.
So we don't need a separate one.
If
underneath
hair
the cabinet
services
then,
are
right?
performed, at least one covered waste container per establishment for the disposal of hair. Hair must be disposed in a covered waste container.
So that's what we
Okay, where,
consider
perfect,
less.
Yeah.
where can I find that? What page are you on?
978, 119, and it's section 978.
Did it say, you said closed and labeled?
No,
No,
not labeled.
so they don't have to be labeled.
Not the trash.
So maybe
No,
that's
our
Ken,
trash
is that
isn't
Kenny,
labeled.
Kenny's making us label?
No, we
We've
don't.
gotten
It was
busted for it not being
state board
labeled.
was, yeah.
Yeah, that was
State board.
the, all state, yeah.
That was state board.
That was labeled, yeah, labeling our
That
trash.
was not labeled.
No, it was
Fine.
state board.
Because I'm pretty sure even
Yeah, so yeah, just label it,
say,
so we don't have to label our trash.
So the thing is you will never label anything specific to what
It'll be
you know,
soiled
It'll be
or-
soiled,
yeah.
clean, or new.
Okay,
Unless it's outside of the
Right.
manufacturer's container.
got it.
And disinfectant solution.
So, the way,
I'm all right. I love the coffee.
so, in our salon, we have little pencil boxes that say sanitized. Or
Halfway.
sanitized or, no, disinfected.
Okay, good.
Disinfected,
Because
not
you don't want to put
sanitized.
sanitized.
Right, because we can't sanitize.
Right.
So it says disinfected, and so they will do a haircut. They'll leave the scissors, their tools out on the counter. They'll go check them out, then they'll come back, they'll clean them, they'll spray them, and then they'll put them in there into the sanitized or disinfected box. Is that okay? Okay.
So it could be either done that way, or it can be labeled soiled, and then when you take it out,
I personally gotta tell you, I would prefer to see you guys put it in the soil until you're ready to use it.
and then brush it.
Because I know how hard those,
Right,
even in
Okay.
the inside of the shears, that where it connects.
right.
If they
still
see
getting air in
anything,
there.
they're gonna cite you
So
for
just
that. If
dirty,
you have it-
right?
Right. Right, and then just clean them, you know, get the debris off, clean them right before you use it on your client.
Okay, and then I think another one was, so say we just finished cutting, and we put our dirty scissors, possibly have hair on them, I don't know, comb or whatever, up there, check the customer out, what if State Board walks in and sees my dirty scissors?
So
With hair.
they're gonna take in consideration if you're there or if you're in the break room sitting.
Right.
You know, if you're just finished your client, you're checking them out, they shouldn't be citing you. If you walk away, go to the bathroom, get your lunch, whatever, and you leave it, then you're gonna get cited.
Okay, so if we have, I don't know, dirty
Are you cold?
combs, clipper guards, whatever, just to check someone out, should be fine.
Because that's part of the service, you're checking them out, and you're coming back to
We
suite.
have been warned for that.
So when they're soiled, right before you, so let's say you are going on break, your scissors are soiled because you just finished. Do you stick them into the cabinet where it says soiled?
That would be the best, foolproof thing to do.
Okay,
It's not a great idea to get in the habit of leaving them, because at some point you're gonna have to run back.
right.
You're gonna be like, I'll get after, and that's when the inspector's gonna come in.
Always.
I have an open plastic container that says soil, but I throw it in there and then when I'm not cutting, it goes into the soil. Perfect. Yeah.
New to her. I know.
It's just sometimes one inspector will say one thing, one will say the other, but we do it pretty much exactly how you want us to.
And I know it's hard, like, with the business that you're in, but if there is something you don't agree with, you know, you appeal it.
Right.
Okay.
Because on the panel at the DRC are industry members that work in Shaw's regularly, so they know how the business goes. So, you know, they're
Well,
very reasonable.
It would probably be nice for your inspectors, for us to be consistent as well. Because every shop
Us
that they
as
go.
Great Clips owners.
Yeah, because we have so many salons across the state, that it would be nice for them to know what to expect when they walk in.
Right.
You know, instead of having every salon do it a little bit differently. So it would be nice for us to be a little
There's
consistent.
46,000 salons in California.
Yeah, that's a lot, yeah.
Can we move on to this one station
Let me
here?
just show you one
With our
thing
list
that I
of
see.
Yeah, please.
One of the most common things that happens here.
Yes, you can't cover your license.
Right.
Oh,
Put your product in front of your license.
Okay.
They're
Family
busy, they're
pictures, you see
working.
that a lot.
They better figure out how to fix that magnet.
So common.
Really?
Family pictures that cover any part of the license, but what if they've got a really cute frame?
Oh,
and
that's
there's a
fine.
picture like in the corner, as long as you can see all of the info on the license, that's okay.
You can put your kid's picture right there.
Which is fine with you guys,
No,
but against
no.
Great Clips.
Gotta see it.
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
fine.
no.
I think it,
Yeah, just remember that's
No.
there for the consumer to
Right.
see.
Right.
So everything on there, the consumer should be able to read.
But it's always that, or sometimes, I just had one from another chain who came to me and said, come on, there was just a bottle of product in front of our person, they were fast. So I pulled it and I looked at it, and it was like 5 products and they were perfectly positioned. I'm like, oh, I can't give you that one. There's, you know, it doesn't look like they were just busy and kind of tossed in there. It was multiple products, neatly placed, you know,
How do we
so.
get our license to stick up there then?
You know, a
Yeah,
lot
we
of
need
it,
to, we need to just,
What
in
happened
an
to the
era
gold
of
days when we
Google,
used to stick them
it's
in
the names out
Yeah,
there,
that's what we need to
search
do.
them, and, you know, so,
Right.
it's, and it gets a two-way street, so.
yeah. So I have one other question before we move on. I know you want to move to this station. People who have those cases of they're not plastic clipper guards, they're the metal clipper guards that sit on the top. Do they need to be covered?
Yeah, they've actually, those attachable blades fall into 979, which
The expensive
are
one,
all
bring
there.
that down.
So let me just tell you what it says on there, so you have it.
979, could we write that down?
Yeah.
Those are for the like zero ops and the.
So I
the
brought
big
you
heavy-
guys something too. I brought you the most common cited violations.
Oh, good.
We updated it, so it might be, some of you might have already gotten one a while back ago.
Okay.
But this is the updated.
Citations? Yeah.
So what I suggest is that you look at those and then actually print a book. You can print this directly off our
Okay.
website. And if an inspector comes in and they circle anything, I go right to the book and read it, because we've tried to keep it as very plain English.
Okay.
You know, as simple as we can for regulations. So for the new ones, all tools used on so disinfected tools shall be stored in a clean covered place that is labeled clean or disinfected. So those actual guards, the metal ones, that's what needs to happen.
Okay.
I think
Same
they make a
as-
Can they
lid for it now.
can they go into the drawer?
The inspector?
No, the metal, okay, the metal ones can go into the drawer. Okay. Just probably not the case that they sit in, because that's not disinfected.
The plastic cases can be disinfected.
Okay.
Yeah, so as long as you're disinfecting them.
We have, you know what, we're doing, do I want to say this? So like in that, what's that drawer right there called? The one on the left?
The soil?
Soil. In there on the top, a lot of them will have all the extra tools that they didn't use in a closed container labeled clean.
Yeah, you don't
Inside
want
there.
to do that. Anything.
So just don't even label them.
Right,
Okay.
right. If you're gonna store stuff in there, just don't have it clean on there.
Okay, got it.
It will make the inspector believe that you're,
Hiding stuff, got it.
yeah, pulling stuff out of the wrong stuff there.
We just label every box clean and soil, and then we're good. Whatever it is, it might be right.
We're gonna make you go broke.
Everything in the dirty and you're good.
Right, yeah, that's
That's all
pretty
we
much what it
decided,
is.
yeah? Everything goes in the dirty.
Yeah.
If you know, I know you guys aren't, I know you're teasing, but if you were to do that, you'd still get cited
Yeah.
because lots of
It would be
people clean
mislabeled.
tools, and they're obviously be customers, so.
We go in to nice salons and find everything labeled dirty because they think then they can't be, then everything's okay. And I'm like, but then what are you using?
Yeah.
Well, so, and in the thought process of that, like in this one, there's 2 shelves. So those are like actually the dirty comes down there, and then like a lot of times they'll have backup, or that's what where they put the clean one on. And
Just don't label it clean.
Okay,
Yeah, just don't.
good. It used to be a purse holder, so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The lockers are for now.
All right, so you had something on the other.
This kind of weird station, we have different versions of this stuff. So obviously this is a utility sink, so we can cut hair on it or whatever. So this is obviously the clean stuff, whatever. We don't have anything in there. This one, how would you label it? Only soiled when you open it up, or would you?
What are you using it for? Are you
This would be
using
like
your-
clippers, the same thing as that cubby hole, but it's closed between services.
Curling iron.
Sometimes there's curling irons.
Yeah, to me, it makes sense that you have both
Yeah.
clean and soiled. It would really depend on what you're putting.
Right.
It's gonna be clippers, blow dryer,
Curling irons.
scissors, yeah.
It'd be like just a regular station.
So are they clean?
They're not clean
The
until they
clippers
come
are
up here.
soiled over there.
Oh, okay.
To our SMA. What year did I graduate from beauty school? Like
So you're
my
gonna have
sanitary
clippers
maintenance.
You would have clippers in there
Yeah.
that
Dirt,
you're
like
gonna pull out, clean.
clean, and then put them on the, like we do on that one. Same?
Soil.
Yeah, okay. Do we put it on the outside?
Yes, you can put it on the outside.
And then does this one, if it's not used, because they don't, when they cut hair and they fill that, then can we label new or not?
Yeah, if you don't have anything in it, it shouldn't be labeled.
You don't have anything in there, you don't have to label. Cool. Okay, then these, we get a little crazy on
Let's
this one.
soil that hair, just to make sure
Okay.
we know that.
Soiled out there. Bruda, got that?
Soil
We
done.
learned how to buy these ones like now. We go get them out when they're in. What do you want it to say? Done. Okay, so this, right, tall cabinets. And in a lot of the situations, they'll have overstock product up there. That sometimes gets mixed with back bar. How's that working? What do you guys help me out with this one?
Say it again?
Okay, so
I've got it in mind.
combs and brush, like, cause it's for space, whatever, and then up here they'll have overstock retail product out there. And we've gotten cited for that because they'll say it's product.
No, I
Yeah, I don't
don't see
think
how that
we
could
do
be a
that.
site.
It's not like,
So my question is, on the combs, do you have them in a container labeled?
they're in the back, yeah. Those are
No
okay.
combs in there.
No, just like
No,
overstock
just product.
It would be product from
Retail
the,
product.
yeah, from
Okay.
overstock.
How about back bar though? If
No.
you put back bar in there, then it would make it dirty, right?
Yeah, back where the stuff we use on the customer.
Oh,
And with your
And
towels
with your
on the
clean
top
towels.
shelf.
Towels have to be stored in a clean covered place. It should be a clean covered place. If your dirty bottles of shampoo are getting all in your towels, then it's a dirty place.
On a different shelf.
But
So if you have one whole side that's just back bar and
That's what we
clothes and
have,
stuff, what is that supposed to be labeled? Mine's labeled supplies.
See, this one's called clean, and this has got all the stuff we're talking about.
Yeah.
so is that
there you
considered
go.
clean?
Oh, there you go.
Is that,
This is the
That's it.
mystery item drawer where it says clean, but we don't have any calls with them.
and it's just
But
back bar product that we use
So
on
those
the back bar?
are for the retail shelf, these like are the icky gunky open
We don't
stuff that
have,
we use.
and Tammy, correct me if I'm wrong, we don't have a regulation that says how you store your products.
So we don't have to even label this?
Well, you do because there's something below that those products. If we open it back up, no.
There's curling irons in there.
Right, so you have stuff down there.
but if this cabinet was all products,
This shouldn't be clean then, this should be soil.
No, you don't have to label your products.
But we
But
have
there's
curling irons
there's
in
curling
there.
irons.
Okay, so the
Well,
curling
But
irons.
now that you put curling iron in there, they become hot styling tools and have to follow 980.
which I'm looking, because their hot tools are exempt.
Let's get rid of
Ours are
style too, make those optional.
Soil taking a note.
But you still have
They
to-
don't matter.
So if they're
Did you say 980
disinfected,
for
they just
styling
need to
tools?
be in a clean place. It doesn't have to be labeled. If they're disinfected, it doesn't have to be labeled. If they're soiled, nope, that's excluded hot styling tools, so that doesn't even.
This is always that aisle that confuses me right here, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Overflow dryers and clean areas,
So they're exempt.
right? Just in a clean place, it doesn't say labeled.
That cabinet doesn't need a label.
Okay.
As
Okay.
is.
So,
As is.
with all
As long
the
as those are clean.
Can you make sure though that, is it only curling irons in there?
Curling
Or is it a little
irons,
white basket?
Just extra baskets.
rubber bands and
So those are all new.
these are new. These are
Do
new.
they have to be enclosed
Bad girl.
in a bag?
Yeah, labeled.
They have to be in a baggie, right?
Yeah, just put them in a Ziploc, label it new.
So rubber bands, bobby pins, all that stuff in a bag.
New. Labeled new. Okay, so then there's one more item, so we took it away because it started to get a little dangerous. So for stores that are extremely squinchy, what we can put in here is a cubby, for like perming. We pulled them out because we don't do perms anymore.
Hello, welcome to Great Clubs.
What can go in that?
In the cubby?
Yeah, they're like the little cubby things, so if I get a perm tray,
Like a
I guess-
white, I mean the
the black,
plastic
yeah,
door
right?
thing? Okay.
And I wanted to say, okay, we're gonna take all our curling irons and these and put them in there, would that be someplace to put them or not? Or how would that have to be labeled?
Your clean curling irons don't have to be labeled. They just have to be in a clean place.
Because
Okay,
they are excluded in law.
Right.
Because they're a hot styling tool.
okay.
Now, if you put hairbrushes over there,
Yeah.
then it gets into a different situation.
Could you put those little plastic bags on the processing caps on top of each of the different drawers? So like if I put these guys in one of the drawer and covered it with that plastic processing and
Shower.
wrote new.
Shower
Oh, are we
caps.
talking
Shower
about
caps.
like the
Perm cards.
the roll
It's heavy.
Yes, yes, yeah, rollabouts.
It took me a while to catch on to what back
So
bar
in that
was.
drawer, that one drawer where this new is in there, can I write new and cover it inside that?
Yeah, as long as it's covered.
Yeah.
And stays covered, right?
Good idea. See, we
And
need
is it
storage.
because what
Yeah, we-
the thing you're talking about
Yeah, we cover the
has a
perm
gap
rods with
between
those
the
too.
top? Is it multiple drawers?
Yes.
Because I've seen them where they're,
Yeah, there's a gap in between there, so you cover it
Consider
with a
that,
shower
we
cap.
consider that closed.
yeah,
Oh, okay, good.
Even though like the drawer pulls out and there's still a gap between the top.
it's still
Really?
closed.
Yeah, we consider that closed.
Oh, so you don't have to cover it with a shower.
No.
Because
I thought
when you label the difference between new and
Like the
sanitized,
top one
like
is
the
the
top
top one
one,
overly
exactly.
exposed.
So that one
Then
needs to
you
be
would need
covered.
to,
Right.
but the ones underneath the top, we
They're-
consider the top.
They're closed by the whatever's above them.
But they're,
Perm card doors.
Yeah, that have the gap that
Yeah.
are, essentially they are.
Right, but that's when people aren't paying guards.
the outer cover.
Yeah.
I have heard of other salons getting fines because they didn't have like a squirt bottle for, Barbicide to clean out the sink afterwards. No. Not Great Clips, but another
Yeah, it
salon was
should
telling me
be.
they got a fine for that. No,
Shouldn't be.
I didn't think so.
hey, what do you guys do with your hair in the sinks now that we don't put garbage cans?
I take the towel that I'm putting in the soil.
Mine's next to the vacuum, I just toss it in there.
And it's closed, because that would be hair, okay.
Gotcha.
I just throw it on the floor, wait for it to dry. and then-
Oh, you don't do perms. I was gonna say, what do you do with your in wraps?
That's part of the problem. We pulled them out like 3 stores. I'm like, I'm not getting fines on that anymore.
So your in wraps, what do you do with those?
They should be just discarded in the trash. And
In
I
a
know how it
closed
goes.
trash?
You pull the rods out and the papers are all in the sink. Before you
Oh, yeah.
leave the sink area, grab all those in wraps, throw them in the trash. Doesn't have to be in the covered trash either.
Okay, right.
It's only for hair, loose hair. Don't have perm
hair
rods on the sink either.
So if you pick hair up out of the sink that's wet and you just toss it in the uncovered garbage,
Yeah, you need to put that hair
Right.
in the covered garbage.
So we all cover garbage.
No uncovered, just to make it safe.
Are there any restroom issues for salons?
Yeah.
Constant.
Okay, should we go in the restroom and figure out what we need to do there?
Let's see your restroom.
Yeah.
Let's all go in the restroom, all right.
360-degree turn.
Want to get out, right?
Hi, Samia, you okay?
This is the best restroom we've ever seen.
Wait, say that again, I wanna get,
No, I don't see anything.
Nothing.
what would we look out for? Like, what would be an issue?
A mop.
A mop,
Oh, no.
no.
A
we don't.
hand, a community hand towel.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gross.
A bar of soap. We see that.
Really?
Yeah. And we see sometimes Christmas decorations or,
Does the garbage can have to be covered?
not in here, unless you're doing hair, dropping
Right.
hair in it, so.
Kenny's starting to get people to put in covered ones.
But it's not great
It's not,
practice.
yeah.
Not yet.
Now, paper towels on a paper towel dispenser that's not covered, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, just,
We just require paper towels.
So no mops, but we can leave plungers and toilet bowl cleaner tools to
Yeah,
the
look
side.
how
That's,
pretty they are.
well, yeah, they look very nice.
Oh, those aren't the pretty ones.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with
No.
that.
I have the pretty ones that are in closed containers, except for I don't know where they
all
went.
right, let's get out of that.
We'll buy new ones. They're at Walmart.
I hang that in my office on the,
You need to
in
get
my
cute
office.
little
Got my name on
plunger.
it.
It's a model restroom.
It's a model restroom.
Got the break room.
This is where we disinfect.
So are you? You're allowed in, right?
Oh, no, we are allowed,
Yeah.
yes. Anywhere in the establishment, any drawer that's labeled personal or cabinet, anything, they're allowed to inspect.
Good to know,
So, yeah.
okay.
So in the desk.
Oh, hold on,
That's a violation. Big one.
hold on.
Guys not to do that?
It needs to now say disinfectant solution.
Oh yeah, I got a fine for that one.
Samia, you got that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Disinfectant.
It said disinfectant and I got a fine.
And again, it just got, it just got
Oh,
passed a week or two ago.
July 2015.
No, they
Samia,
just
when
had
did you have your
They
last-
just had a one 2 weeks ago.
Oh, they got cited? At least
No, they didn't.
2 months.
They didn't.
But my store did get cited.
Oh,
for
okay,
that.
good to know, good to know. So
That's,
they did
that's,
get
so I
cited.
got, no, but we did. And I got, and I had a one in August, I believe. And it said disinfectant and not disinfectant solution, and we got fined for it.
What area are you in?
Roseville.
And if the girls, if for some reason they rinse off their tools, but they didn't scrub it completely. And
Yeah.
there's stuff floating.
Yeah.
I mean, it may not even be floating, but if there's stuff on the cone, they didn't scrub it down.
So you know that white buildup you get? Yeah, that will get you cited. You'll
Yeah.
get it all off. Use,
Found these killer new blue
use a
containers,
piece of
they're the
if you have
best.
to,
Uh-huh.
the buildup on your
They're
phone,
the best.
You know, there's.
So yeah, it's very rare that.
Ship shape.
Are those labeled, is that water right then?
We
don't-
Disinfectant solution.
We don't care about your water.
How about the ship shape?
We don't
Yeah,
have
ship
ship
shape
shape.
in there?
Nope,
No,
we don't use that.
You can use ship shape, we don't require it.
How do
but
you
it
label
helps.
that?
It's, would probably fall under the soap, you know how we have in the regulations, use soap and water to clean it?
So how do you require us to label it?
Soap and water label, soap.
No.
They don't require you to label
You
it,
guys
no?
don't have ship
Okay, no label?
Because usually,
We do
what
ship
you
shape
see
and then
are
the
people,
disinfectant and the
you know,
bar
take it to their shampoo bowl, they have the soap and they're washing their stuff off in the shampoo bowl or a sink. And so we don't usually see a container that is soapy, you know, I mean, it can be soapy water, but.
Right, so you don't have to label that
You're
at all.
not even doing ship shape.
Ship shape.
But if we did label it, soapy water's fine. The temperature, does it always have to be warm? Is that something? No? Because it cools off eventually.
Right, yep, no, we wouldn't look at that.
Okay.
We are working to change this to back to, that it can be either labeled disinfectant or disinfectant solution, because we think it's stupid that we made that.
We,
What was that?
So do we.
So you gotta find
Within our
solution.
and then we put it in the.
Yeah, we are proposing new regs,
Disinfectant.
probably in January, to change it so it can be either called disinfectant or disinfectant solution.
Okay.
So the health and safety regs that went into effect that require us to label things new, that require the disinfectant to be labeled disinfectant solution, they go through huge amounts of review, including the Department of Public Health. And now we have looked at these regs and we're like, what were we
didn't do that.
thinking? Like that, we would never have said to do that. Then labeling the items new as one, the disinfectant solution. So we're working on cleaning all that up now. So in January, we're gonna have proposed regulations to clean a lot of that up.
No, Samia, she's gonna tell you what's wrong over here.
Take off the sanitized. Okay.
Yep.
As a, change it to clean or disinfected. Okay, clean.
And then this one's okay?
That one's.
That's where they're drying out before we put them into their little.
I think it's all. So you would label it clean.
I would label it
It's
clean.
on the other side, it's on the other side.
So,
Turn it around.
okay, perfect. Yeah,
Way to
just make
go.
sure those, I mean, not that a client would be back here, but the whole purpose is for clients to know.
Okay, so I got a question then on drying guards, because sometimes they'll take the blow dryer, and they'll prop it up on a station with all the guards in there and the combs to dry them faster. That's not legit, because they're not covered.
Right, if you're standing there and you're blow drying them, that's one thing.
But if you're doing customers and it's just
Yeah.
there, turned on to 30 minutes, they're exposed, not covered
Right.
container.
You'll probably get cited.
Okay.
Okay, so I have one. So this has happened to me 2 times in my 10 years with whatever. Board walks in. So in the old days, they'd like to we put everything where it's supposed to be. And I have people that are proactive at night because they're bored. And they'll dump the disinfectant and the people in the morning will come in and remake it. So there's nothing in there. State board walks in right behind as the manager's walking in, the door's open, and like I've gotten fined for not having it out. So just leave the dirty, icky stuff from the night out before.
So it hasn't been made yet?
No,
Oh,
the manager's
yeah.
walking in the door at like 9 o'clock and they're coming right in at the same time and it's not out
Okay,
yet.
so there should be some discretion.
Right.
When it's 9 o'clock in the morning, if it's noon.
Right, no,
and
I
you're like, I
understand.
haven't had a chance to mix it
Yeah.
up yet, which happens all the time. But if you were to get that citation, I would appeal, because you could prove, because they have to write the time that they're in.
Yeah,
And you could prove that, look, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, we hadn't even had a chance, so,
I don't like going to those meetings.
no.
time
I
consuming.
get flustered.
No.
But you do learn a lot.
You do.
Cloudy,
They're
road,
And you
scary.
learn you don't want to be a nail
for nice
salon.
fresh thing. They
Right.
check the
Absolutely.
temperature of the water.
Those
Now I
fun.
know what to
No.
appeal them
They don't
about.
check the temperature. No.
Are you?
And I don't think
are-
the manufacturer requires it to be any certain temperature, does it?
I
Have
don't
you
think
run
so.
it? Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Way
either.
too hard to maintain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
no,
warm
don't care
water,
about
but sometimes I'll
temperature.
stick my finger and it's cold, but
No
it's
problem with
clean.
that.
Yeah.
No, if we do come in and you're washing your towels on cold water, that's a violation.
They
You got that?
have to be hot, right?
Yeah, he was talking about this.
Yeah, we,
Is there anything over there at the utility station that could possibly, like if there's cones sitting in there for some stupid reason?
like,
We all have one.
That's awesome, that's nice.
He's gonna die. I told him to flush him and get a new one.
Our shop pet, we all
Is it
have.
really a fish?
Yeah, it's a beta. They each have their mascot fish box.
What's the name of this fish?
What's his name?
What's his name?
Scooter.
Mine is named Perry. I
I had
don't.
a beta for 7 years.
No, and
Lasts forever.
I have two questions.
it in here?
We're kind of, no. Yeah, it's kind of.
Everybody out?
This looks
Welcome to
good.
the claustrophobic. That's why they crap the doors and the break rooms all the time.
I want to get Shannon's question.
Mine swims all around.
Well,
We ended up getting a new one because
So, my two questions.
kidding.
First one, are barbicide jars on the station? I have stylists that will stick their
Oh, yeah.
non-plastic rubber guards in there. How, do you have an amount of time that they have to stay in there? That's the first question. The second question is spraying the clippers in between customers. I have stylists that will go, they get done with a customer, they will run up to the front desk, check them out, come back, clean their station, their clippers are still dirty. They get the customer into the chair and then they spray them and clean them in front of the customer. I had one state board person tell us that we needed to do it that way, and I had another state board person tell us that they needed to sit after being cleaned, after being sprayed, they needed to sit a period of time. What's the correct answer?
we say follow manufacturer's instructions, so if your spray says they have to sit 10 minutes to dry, then that's what you should be doing. And maybe that inspector saw that it had been a minute, and she was going to town, so
Okay.
that was probably why he or she mentioned it.
Okay, and then is there any issue with sticking the scissors into the barbicide or having
Ruining your shears?
I know, and or having the barbicide jars on the stations because we've heard they're allowed, they're not allowed, they're.
it's up to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys don't have an opinion on that.
We only require one made-up container.
Okay.
So it can be like in the back, anywhere. You don't have to have it per station, individual station.
And it's not something we see a lot in hair salons, but we do see a lot of people that think they need to have those jars on their stations, and what happens is it's just for show, and then they get dirty or cloudy, and then you're just setting yourself up for a violation. So however you guys,
Okay.
and I like how you guys do it here, so.
Put it away.
Can we ask about those brushes that you guys use to clean your? So I just hid from
Should we have one under that?
I just hid. At least she's honest.
oh, she's after the brush one.
I see them on, or I see tint brushes that they're using to clean out the thing, right? And then that will be on the whatever, station top.
Yeah, on their sanitary, if they put it on the offside of the sanitary mat.
So we have specific directions for those little mani brushes.
Oh.
We have, it's in section 986. So when you go to clean them, and they're used one time, so it's not the best, you know, you're gonna.
Even though they're not being used for the intended use, they're being used to clean clippers.
Right, because they're specifically listed in here, manicure brushes. and
Right.
that's
So the question is, we use a tint brush to clean our clippers, square clipper size, and then let that sit for whatever manufacturing instruction says 10 minutes or 5 minutes, then that's okay for that process to be used.
So if we're using the temp brush, what I would.
This one is considered a clipper brush. That
Okay,
one,
so what I would do after you get done with your client, I would keep this in my soil drawer.
Yeah, so we
get
keep
done
it
with
in
your-
the soil labeled containers right on the
Perfect.
side.
Yep.
So we don't get
Use it,
marked down
clean it,
anytime.
you
Yeah,
know,
clean it and put it in.
leave it back in the
They
soil
see
and
that.
then disinfect.
So you can't use the manicure.
You cannot
Or
use
the
this.
tint brushes, right?
Well, you
We
can
should.
use them, but then you have to follow these specific,
right.
and it's gonna be a bit of a hassle.
So it's a one-time use.
On the mani brushes, right, okay.
It's not the
these are
same
available
for
for 69 cents through Salon Innovations, so just order them.
And keep them in the
Now, I have a
soil.
question about shears, because you were talking about blocks and soaking them in the shears. We have some Southern California franchisees companies that, and I think we did it, a couple decades ago, but they are trying to find a tray or something so they can just put the tips of their shears after they wipe them down in that. That's not required, right? Because of the stainless steel environment, you just need to wipe it down and spray it per the manufacturer guideline on the sanitation spray, right? Or disinfectant.
Right. And personally, like, because I've done hair, I would caution you on trying to do more, do less. Keep, because once you start putting a tip cover on that, then you need to make sure every time that tip cover is disinfected or clean. So what I've seen done are those little plastic pencil boxes, and just lay them in there, labeled clean, or soiled if they're soiled.
You weren't here earlier, but the recommendation was to make all of those pencil boxes soiled.
Right.
So that there's no confusion. Which we were doing it the opposite.
But if you choose to do that, remember you have to have some clean tools somewhere in the shop.
And that,
like
those
your
some clean,
combs.
that could be the drawer that's labeled clean, that's where the guards are, and the combs.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Okay, so these are no more, correct?
Well, you can use these for the tent. This is
You
what I
can
used to
follow.
use. Yeah.
We don't recommend this.
This, yeah,
Is
right.
that specific manicuring?
What is this under then? Color?
That falls under soil container.
So this or the other
So
one?
the way we're doing it is correct.
Yes.
Okay,
Except for
for
the
that.
except for
Except for
that.
that guy.
Yeah, it's a little.
I mean,
well,
if you're
and you
using the
can use-
manicure brush and we come in and it's in a soiled container, you're not
You're-
gonna
yeah,
get it.
you're not.
It's
We
'cause
always
it's soiled,
put
so.
They just may ask you a few more questions about it.
Yeah, which
so-
we had in our last discussion, and we did
Good, good.
So my understanding that inspectors now have a little more leeway to work with us. I had an inspector after leaving get in contact with me, which I thought was great, to give me feedback. Is that, because previously it felt
Great.
like they couldn't. Is
What
that
area are you in?
I don't know. Is she doing the right thing? And then I'll
Yes.
tell you. Okay.
Yeah, don't get her in
That was
trouble.
for one of my Modesto stores,
Okay.
Anna Pepperly.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I thought it was great though. It was interactive. I didn't feel.
Yes, we're definitely trying to make our inspectors build more partnerships with people as opposed to just coming in and writing down what everybody does wrong. So we're trying to make sure we do the more of a partnership with our salons.
I invited her to my manager meeting and she declined because she said she wasn't allowed to do that. But I mean, honestly, I'd love for
Right.
an inspector to get in front of my people and say more of this, right?
Right.
Okay.
We're looking to do that in
I
the
like where you're
future.
going with that, Bobby.
I do too. Thank you.
Okay, how does that look to you? 'Cause
Looks like something I need at home.
And
they what?
We'll get you
took their
one.
finger and scooped it out.
Actually, most of them are knuckle, right?
Yeah, knuckle.
So is knuckle okay?
Is a knuckle okay? And like, is that here, that little, see that little dot there, is
That's
that
gonna get
fine?
excited. Yep.
And the
So tongue
popsicle
depressors.
sticks
And the
don't-
reason why is
Try
because
those.
you're not supposed to use your
Popsicle sticks,
hand
right.
in there. You're supposed to use like a spatula. I know.
Right.
I know.
So-
Or a spoon.
I have a question.
Glove your hand.
Look at how
and
clean
take
that
it
one
And
is.
then discard the
It's really
glove.
clean.
I
The
have
rest of them, they're all clean.
How about glove tips?
They're all clean.
I
Like
have a
the-
question about using the back of the comb.
Oh, yeah, the back of the comb.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that because
defer to you on
you're
that one.
gonna be combing through, so now it's a dirty tool and now you're sticking a dirty tool.
Gotcha. Okay, how about a clean comb out of the drawer?
You're gonna run into problems. I mean, by the letter of the law, you could do that, but it's not gonna look that way to an inspector coming in.
Okay.
They're not gonna know that you just took a clean comb.
So you
Okay.
recommend the tongue depressor,
Gotcha.
popsicle sticks,
Yep.
one
Or
use.
glove your hand.
Or glove your hand. Or yours is a little finger.
Yeah,
icon.
So we
Those-
have this in our station.
Yeah, and then you could re-clean those, do you know what I mean? And you could have them.
There you go.
With spatula.
When you're
Keep it
getting
spy
into, you need it labeled new.
Yep.
Beautiful.
So,
Because of the popsicle stick, it's got hair on it, and you throw it away in an open container, and like,
Oh.
then you got hair. Or you just put all closed lids and you store them. I'm just kidding.
But those products look pretty clean.
yeah.
I didn't even think about the knuckle or anything, but yeah.
Like, most of mine use a knuckle, they'll stay pretty clean, but if it's those popsicle sticks,
Everybody does.
The stuff we see when we see violations on that are, oh, it's very outrageous. It's very obvious.
Like you could do a haircut on the hair.
Yeah.
ugh, are we missing anything at all?
Anything you see that we should know? Anything glaring or?
I want to do commercial.
You what?
I want to do commercial right now. We have an occupational analysis for the cosmetology profession coming up, and we're doing a workshop in February, and we are looking for volunteers who work behind the chair to volunteer for it. So if
I think you have one of my people, don't you?
I do for the
Oh, for the survey,
questionnaire.
okay.
This is an actual come in, do a workshop for 2 days, Sunday, Monday.
Oh, wow.
I don't anyone remember me.
Yeah.
Shoot me an email.
Send me the information, I'll
Okay.
forward it to all the franchisees.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And who is the owner of this place?
That'd be me, and
Okay.
Cindy as the manager.
So, if you could ever maybe do a video here?
Absolutely. We
Yeah.
have plenty of stories.
That's where I thought you were going.
Could you get me on the
Thank you.
state board? I put that app in like 2 years
I
ago.
put an app in
Did
too.
not.
I
we all
was
put an app
appointed
in.
by
You get a
This
letter
last
saying
time.
thank you,
Oh.
we didn't select you.
Yeah.
Oh, they're like, hey, we have that in file. Hey.
No, like, we reviewed your application.
Hi, welcome to
I
Great Club. Because I'm a Cosmo and franchisee. So
applied, I want to
these
be
are all
on
my
that board.
managers for Roseville, Rockwood.
You have to be the squeaky wheel.
To get on board.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to, but, you know.
Yeah, but when's the next San Diego one?
Are you in San Diego?
No, but wait, if I'm gonna go to a board meeting, I'm like, ooh, San Diego.
On the 14th, we just had it at DCA.
We just had one
But
in
now we're-
Sacramento.
Yeah.
I just missed them.
Our next one's in Orange County.
Oh, I hate that. What's the date on that?
Very close to Disneyland.
I think it's the 22nd, right?
I know, I should know. I have it right here.
I can look on the board, I'm pretty sure I have that. I just,
But that's also a good way because then bring intel that February your issues and present it to the board.
well, you know what freaks me out is they don't have any hairstylists on there that does what we do. Preschool,
January
2
22nd.
nails, one
No, not
insurance
anymore.
guy.
We have
She's full service.
2 cosmetologists. No, I'm sorry. The
One nail, one
cosmetologist, a barber. We don't have any manicurists right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have 2 cosmos.
Well, that's right, we have 2 cosmos. 2 cosmos, a barber, and a
Freezing
schooler.
in here.
Got cold again.
Yeah, for
Go sit in
serving
for
our
Mia.
industry.
You need more freezing. All right, so I'm going to board meetings this year and
There you go.
resubmit. I'll just go.
Bobby'd be good for that. He'd be good.
He would be good for that. Really hard to get on, it's so political.
We don't get any input in that, so.
But yeah, anytime you wanna use any of my stores, let me know. Like, and this looks, I have a Rio Linda one that we were gonna meet in, but it's only 700 square feet.
Oh, okay.
So it's by station and there's no bathroom and it's like, we wouldn't have even been able to walk through it.
We do a lot, we're doing training with our inspectors, and we're actually trying to do videos for them, and it's nice if we could have like a station set up
Absolutely.
to do
Do that.
that, so.
Anytime you need, do you have my card? I might have done it the last one. I'll grab it for you.
Yeah, we can accommodate whatever you need. Either this store or another store.
So just pass these out. We redid our top violations and the top permit.
And I think I offered us our training centers in California. I oversee marketing.
Thank you.
So we have offices in San Diego, and, well, Corona.
That's fine, yeah, it's doing well too.
Here.
Okay, right, this is, right, where we met before, right?
Yeah, it's like a mile from your place.
Right.
And we have one in San Francisco.
Can I ask them if there's any time they're gonna make those posters smaller?
Yes!
Oh, that would be
I was gonna say it
nice.
earlier, it's like my
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they're always folded when you get on, and you try to iron them out, and you're like, and they take up half your wall space.
I've been the executive officer for 11 years. It's the longest any executive officer has stayed with this great board. And the one thing I hate is that sign.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think we're very, very close. It's gonna be a 1-page, this size.
Oh, that'll be amazing.
Still not really pretty, but
At least it's smaller.
it's something you can print off offline. I'm looking at that sign.
Like January 1st, we're thinking maybe?
We're trying to find
We're looking,
frames for it.
I'm thinking, it could be like probably 90 days it's gonna be ready.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I gotta order new frames now, is it gonna be 8 by 10? Yes. Or, you guys, I'll order those new frames from Great Clips, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Really?
I put an order in for 2 for you, so I'll put 3 in now.
Yeah, it's at the front desk, it's beautiful. the same color as the frame. I have a question, I'm sure you answered it.
Slabby frame?
Do you have them?
No, I just ordered them from this store, but every store forward of this we've been to. They're beautiful. They're like they're matching chrome, perfect size for business license, whatever the two. Reno. They cost $48. You're very welcome, thanks for coming. Are you our new park council?
I don't know yet. Votes are, they're counting the votes right now.
Okay, Donald.
So that was Brian Bix at,
So we were saying, like,
guy.
there could be a flap over that and
Good
labeled
luck.
new.
Celebrate.
Because it's never clean, because it needs to be thrown away right after it's used. So it has to be labeled new, and as long as there's some sort of ziplock on the inside or a cover on the outside, then you're gonna be fine.
Okay, and so if you're putting it in a Ziploc, obviously it needs to go into your clean,
Right.
or your sanitizer.
Right, it can be in there, but it needs to be labeled new.
It's our classic design, and then we've got the ones in the cups. So Kim Schopper, the director of our industry relations for our 4,000 plus salons, we want to make sure that we're complying with state board regulations, although it's different. California specifically, if the cup is marked clean, or the cup is marked clean or sanitized,
prejudicial.
She said that by the letter of the law.
Go over there. I don't know if I'm having an
When
11:30
the clipper is
thing.
on top of the station, that's where it's soiled, but after the service, you clean it, disinfect it, and then you put it in the cup or on the hook.
Correct, if it's clean, it just needs to be in a clean place.
It doesn't need to be covered.
Right, if it's dirty and you're storing it, it needs to be in a covered place labeled dirty or soiled.
We've got a lot of franchises now that have those plastic shoe-sized box with the lid, and they've notched the plastic out, and there's all their clippers in there on top of the stations. It's very inconsistent because we're a franchise brand, we don't necessarily like that. Our stations are designed a certain way, so as long as they're following the sanitation regulations, and they can be in the designated containers.
Right.
So in the salon, I noticed that cup is marked soil. Yes.
Walgreens?
Starbucks is going over real.
Our industry director is saying that it should be marked clean. And we should, per you guys should, keep our instruments that are clean and, or, clippers, trimmers clean.
If it's in that cup, we would label them soil.
Okay, but the hook can be clean.
It can be, the hook, if it's in a clean, the law says it only has to be, if clean, it's just in a clean place.
Okay.
So as long as it's labeled clean, labeled, right? It just has to be in a clean place. It can be the hook. It can be that
Cup,
that
it's
cup.
hard to regulate if it's hair-free, that's what you're saying.
Right, very hard. So I would label those soiled and have them in there when they're soiled. Take them out, clean them prior to use, and then you're fine.
Okay, and so then on shears, Draper was trying to clarify, so even if it's clean, you're putting it in a pencil box and you're marking that soil?
Well, that, the thing is,
No, I go ahead if they want to join us.
it was kind of a joke. How some shops label everything soil. Right.
We were telling them don't do that because if there's nothing labeled clean, you'll get cited.
Right.
Because you'll have customers in there and they didn't make the assumption that they were soiled. So it's kind of a great joke.
So how do you want shears, because obviously we're high volume, very different than a full service salon, but of course, safety and cleanliness is the most important thing. So how do we want us to, handle shears?
Get down with your customers, put them in your soil. Next customer comes in, grab their soil, clean them, get all the debris off, spray them, wait whatever it is that says to wait, and you can use them.
Okay.
I do it just right before your next client.
Okay, so after you spray, you probably can't hold it in your hand, so would you then put it down on an SMA?
Yeah, especially if you have a client sitting right here, so do it right away, set it down, drape your customer, shampoo, come back and start in.
So would that mat then be considered an SMA to you, because it's not a porous surface, right? And if they are using a towel as an SMA, then they have to change it with every customer, but that can be an SMA.
Sanitize, and not dirty.
Okay.
Right, don't say sanitize. Right, right.
So how would you disinfect it?
There's spray disinfectant,
Okay.
spray cleaner.
Okay.
You want it to be visibly clean, right? Because believe me, I know like Barbicide makes a spray, disinfecting spray. Just spray it out, wipe it.
So would it be a good practice to have a bottle, a spray bottle of some sort, with the solution, disinfectant solution mixed in there and labeled properly, in the, let's say, soiled cabinet, so you can clean the surface?
It's disinfectant solution.
So it can stay on the top of the station? Because that would be a different spray than like for the shears. Okay, gotcha.
They make it for hard surfaces, hard, disinfecting clean surfaces. Yeah, no. I wouldn't put it in the soil.
Okay, just keep it on the top like we do for.
Because that will cause confusion for the inspector, they'll be like, it's disinfectant.
So as far as our spray disinfectant, we keep it on the top of the station, so same as that. Okay, got it.
So would that, just because I'm not a cosmetologist, would that be done in between each customer? Or if it's just physically clean, it could be done maybe once a day?
The SMA, I would clean it between each customer, just spray it, wipe it as part of your, you're taking your blow dry, like I'm assuming, blow drying all the hair off. Right after you do that, spray it, wipe it, and you get your next customer.
So it's, how I like to describe it to stylists and franchisees, because everybody goes to the dentist, and SMA is like the dentist and their blue little thing, They lay it down, they put all their tools in it, and they get a new one, put all the tools away, get new tools, and a new SMA between them.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
Wow, Caitlin.
Regulate that too.
We're stealing that.
They're going out.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated. Same here. We'll be in touch. Thanks for coming, Christy.
Yes. Let me know if you have any concerns or
Yeah, no, I
my
will.
email.